Hi, Amy and Daniel. This is your story for this week, 15A, Why We Need a Park for Elderly People. The Council is seeking ideas from the public for the use of this piece of waste ground. All proposals should be sent in writing before the 20th of July to Mr. John Byrne at Monaghan County Council, Main Street, Monaghan, County Monaghan, or by email to the following address. So this is a letter they've received. Cherry Tree Home for the Elderly, Beacon Row, Monaghan Town, County Monaghan. Dear Mr. Byrne, my name is Eileen Smith and I am writing to you on behalf of the residents of Cherry Tree Home for the Elderly. My letter relates to your invitation for the proposals for the use of the waste ground beside the supermarket. We think you should build a park with special facilities for the elderly, and here are our reasons. Number 1, Cherry Tree has a garden, but it is much too small for the 150 residents living there. If we had a decent park in which we could take long walks, this would encourage many of my fellow residents to turn off the television, get out into the fresh air and get some exercise. Number 2, a lot of our residents are becoming institutionalised. I believe this is because they lack a purpose, a reason to get out of bed in the morning. If a park was built on the proposed site, its proximity to Cherry Tree would mean it would be accessible to all residents. If we could walk to a park we have some ownership of, this would help us regain the independence and purpose that many of us have lost. And there's just a few words there in bold in this page. So institutionalized means someone's kept in a place like an institution, a care home of some sort. So elderly or maybe someone vulnerable. Proximity is a nearness or closeness to somewhere. Accessible, it's within easy reach of somewhere. And that's all on this page. Number 3, we know that maintenance of a park will be of huge cost to the council, but we can help. Before we moved to Cherry Tree, many of us were avid gardeners. We could help maintain the garden. This would give us something to do in addition to reducing labour costs for the council. Gardening is great therapy for the soul, and it is good exercise too. We could even have a vegetable patch to provide organic produce for Cherry Tree, reducing food costs for the home while improving our diets. Number 4, we have an exercise room in Cherry Tree, but it is much too small and becomes hot and stuffy in the summertime. Think how much better it would be if we could do our exercise classes outdoors when the weather is fine. We would love to do Tai Chi outdoors like they do in Japan, where they have the longest life expectancy in the world. Number 5, it is a known fact that we have a growing elderly population. Building a park for us would show your commitment to a generation that has paid a lifetime of taxes and asked for little in return. Keeping us happy and healthy would reduce the state's medical costs, and your county council would be setting a positive example to other towns in the country. We know that you have received a proposal to build a skate park on the site. While we understand that young people need a place to gather, we feel our idea would be of more benefit to the wider community. After all, only a small percentage of our town could use a skate park, whereas everybody could use our park, even the teenagers. Have you considered the possible antisocial problems that might accompany a skate park, such as teenage drinking, littering and graffiti, as well as the number of injuries that might occur? And some of the bold words on this page: avid is somebody that's very enthusiastic about something. Therapy is a treatment to heal some sort of condition. Commitment is the word dedicated to something. Percentage is a number out of 100%. And possible, able to do something. If you do decide to use the ground as a park for the elderly, we came up with some features you could include. Number 1, adult outdoor exercise equipment to keep us fit. These have been successfully installed in many parks here in Ireland and around the world. Number 2, lots of benches where we can sit and chat. Number 3, ramps instead of steps so people on walking frames or in wheelchairs can get around easily. Number 4, bulletin boards, an outdoor reading room, and chest or card tables to encourage interaction. Number 5, a bowling green. Number 6, a walking path with kilometre markers to encourage exercise. Number 7, garden sculptures and flower beds. Number 8, a vegetable patch plus a greenhouse where we could grow exotic plants and herbs. Number 9, wheelchair accessible toilets. We believe in this proposal so strongly that we are prepared to put our money where our mouth is. I have a signed petition from over 100 residents who have agreed to donate a percentage of their old age pension to the construction and maintenance of this park. For too long, we have been hidden away in nursing homes and hospitals. I know that some of us are infirm and suffer from various debilitating conditions, but we also have a lot to offer. Over our lifetimes, we have given so much to society. Is it too much to ask in our hour of need that society give us something back? As the great Indian leader and pacifist Mahatma Gandhi said, the true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. Thank you for listening to our proposal, and if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at the above address. Better still, call into Cherry Tree in person and see what we have to offer. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Yours sincerely, Eileen Smith. And some words there. Petition there is a signed request or a written request by people to do something. Debilitating is a condition, it's to make somebody weak, so like an illness where they can't get around as easily as they once did. Infirm is somebody who's not physically or maybe mentally strong enough through illness, so somebody who's weak or infirm or frail. And a pacifist is somebody who loves peace and they disagree with war or violence. And that's it, I think. Oh, vulnerable then is somebody in need of special care. So you could do A and B above. They're easy enough. I'll keep going on to C here, the vocabulary bit. Arjit is an avid Star Wars fan, honorary, reluctant, enthusiastic, or apathetic. And that would be C, enthusiastic. Number 2, the king has grown old and infirm, feeble, grey, tired, or stooped, and infirm is feeble. So number 3 there, multiple sclerosis is a debilitating illness, incurable, incapacitating, progressive, or negligible, and that is incapacitating. Number 4, the house was vulnerable, so we got an alarm. Expensive, unprotected, valuable, or dangerous. It was unprotected there. Number 5, the harbour is only accessible to small boats. Open, confined, visible, or within reach. Accessible is within reach. Number 6, after her accident, she had many months of physical therapy. Compensation, threats, treatment, or blessings, and that's treatment. So now looking at the vocabulary in section D there, I am something, which means I oppose violence. So the first one there is a pacifist. So number 1. Number 2, prisoners often become something after spending a long time in jail. That's institutionalized. Number 3, I live in close to the shop. That's proximity. Number 4, I made a something at the start of the year to improve my test results. I made a commitment. Number 4. Number 5, Mom signed a something to ban mobile phones in schools, a petition. And number 6, a small something of the human population has green eyes, and that's percentage. And the grammar section this week is synonyms and antonyms. And synonyms are words that have the same meaning. Okay, for example, excited and thrilled mean the same thing. Nervous and worried. A thesaurus can be used to find synonyms. So rewrite this paragraph using synonyms from the panel for the underlined words. Okay, so Florence Nightingale was an English nurse and statistician. She cared for infirm soldiers during the Crimean War. So a word that means the same as infirm would be weak. So I'll put number 1 beside that. She saw these soldiers suffer from debilitating injuries. So suffer would be hurt. So number 2 beside hurt. From incapacitating would be number 3, injuries, which were made much worse by the unsanitary conditions of hospitals at the time, and worked hard to better these conditions. In her lifetime, well, that would be the same as life there. So that's number 4. In her lifetime, Florence Nightingale radically improved the standard of nursing for sick and vulnerable, is defenceless there. So that's number 5. Defenseless people. And antonyms then are words have the opposite meaning. For example, old and young, long and short. And antonyms, I think maybe you could remember it because of anti, maybe being the opposite. There might be a way, so opposite and anti. So use antonyms or opposite meaning to replace the underlined words. So my ally wrote the answer on the paper, My ally would be, the opposite of that would be my enemy. Wrote the question on the paper. Number 2, the rat was found dead in a deep pool. The rat was found alive in a shallow pool. Number 3, the queen looked elegant on her fancy throne. So the queen looked, you could say, inelegant or messy on her plain or ordinary throne. Number 4, the slim man bought a tiny house. The fat man bought a big house or a large house. And the rich old lady lived in Dublin. The poor young man lived in Dublin. Don't bother with F this week, but you could try G there, planning a persuasive letter. Plan a persuasive letter to your school principal. And you can read there your choices. Pick one of them or make up your own and make 3 to 5 points to support your argument. So you could do the plan of that this week. Okay, take care. Bye.